episode of The Lion's Den, hosted by yours truly, Black Lion Oro. Tonight I'm gonna play some Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. This game was recently released by Capcom a couple of weeks ago. And so I'm going to take you through it and show you how the game works a bit. Give me one moment, guys. So yeah, this game was released about 2 weeks ago. Actually, to the day. Today is Tuesday. Yeah, by Capcom. It's the latest and greatest entry in the Marvel vs. Capcom series. So I've been playing it for the last couple of weeks now, and it's actually a pretty decent game. It has its problems, but so far I think Capcom has something that's actually workable for once. I'll talk more about that later, but let's get right into some action.
Captain Marvel,
all right, let's start this.
who will prevail?
They fixed a lot of things graphically from the first beta that came out from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So in my opinion, the models and the backgrounds look a hell of a lot better than they did before. So I think that they did a pretty good job with that. Just gonna set some options here real quick. Fight request for rank match. I can't remember what else. I think I remember what I was practicing before. Some other stuff. Okay. Wait, where? Oh, right. It's this option. Yeah, this is what I want. Shagami.
Sit down. Unity, long throw.
Here come some new challengers.
So the game requires you to use the Infinity Stones within battles. This game takes concepts from, obviously directly from Marvel superheroes, but also from another game that I'd like to
Only
forget,
one team will be left standing.
which is Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and I'll talk more about that after this match. There are some obvious pulls from that game, which I always felt would work better in a versus game, and they definitely did a good job in implementing it here.
Ready. Fight.
This lag is real. Good God.
Hero of our grace upon it. The power of Dante.
Unity.
Break it up. Here we go. Break it up.
Unity.
Sweet break.
Wow, this lag is bad.
Elevation.
That ended well. So yeah, as I was saying before, this game takes from elements from Street Fighter Cross Tekken. There are a couple of particular elements that stand out. The use of the gems is obvious. Every single gem has a particular ability that you can extract and they're extracted in two different parts. There's the Surge, and then there's the Storm. Surge is a smaller ability that allows you to kind of control smaller aspects of the match. And then there's the Storm, which encompasses the entire screen, and both of them give you the ability to kind of take control of the match. And every single one of those abilities are controlled at the bottom of the screen where you see the bars. So once they fill up, you can activate the actual gem Storm, which gives you increased ability. To build that meter up, you need to use some of the Surge powers. So that's actually assigned to a button.
Here comes some new
The
challengers.
reality power is throwing a small orb on the screen that kind of controls placement, whereas the Soul Gem, you would steal life from the opponent if the hit actually connects. So everything has a purpose. So the object is obviously to choose your team
Battle
and
without
then
limits.
choose your stone, but synergy between teams is very important. So, which is what I kind of like about it. You spend quite a bit of time experimenting with different options to see what works for you.
Ready. Fight.
Target acquired. Here's
Oh,
the big
yeah.
one. Proton Temple.
Break you. Break you.
Unity. Spotlight. Limestone.
Battle's not finished yet.
Break you.
Hey,
Unity. 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 Unity.
Reactor output at 73%. Well, there's always room for improvement.
the colors are nice and bright in this game, which is pretty good. I mean, for a game as colorful as this is, it looks really good. Oh god. Oh dear. Nice.
Unity! Spotlight! Take that. Spotlight! Take that. Unity! Reality stone!
Hey. Oi, 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 oi.
Reality stone! Reality stone! Unity! Back off! Take that. Reality stone! Reality stone! Unity! Five-minute quiet. It's the big one. Look at you. Formation.
Reality stone. Reality. Finish it.
Formation.
Messed that up, but it's okay. So, as you can see, like I said before, the storms give you access to heightened abilities. It's literally a storm of fury. The time stone's ability for the surge, you teleport across the screen, which helps obviously like bigger characters like Hulk make them more mobile. The storm ability is a custom combo mode where you can literally press the same button and make your own combos akin to A Groove in CVS2 or Vism in Alpha 3. So it's all the stones have their unique abilities. So they improved upon the concepts of the gems in Marvel superheroes greatly in this, which kind of makes it work. Obviously, that
Here
leads
comes some
to
new challengers.
some things, like some stones are a little more powerful than others, but safe to say everything is kind of sort of equally broken, so it's okay. You know, it's not bad.
The battle begins.
Also, as you can notice, the battles are 2-on-2 again, as opposed to 3-on-3 for the previous iterations of MvC. This is not a bad thing. A lot of people are saying it's not Marvel without 3-on-3, but those people haven't played Versus from back in the day either. So, Nice.
Vanquish my enemy. Smell of the Shanti.
What?
Target acquired. It's the big one. Look at you. Formation.
My goal is clear. Too easy. Supreme.
Seems seems at that point he was just worried about a hit. He probably could have made a comeback if he activated his storm, but who knows?
Ready. Fight. Level 2.
Vanquish my enemy. Here's one more.
Damn it.
Iron Man. Challenge is welcome.
Level 1.
Can you keep up? Dark Fist! Flames of the foe team! Reality! Lightning! Vanquish my enemy! Blade! Reality Stone! Iron Man! Sorcerer Supreme! Reality Stone! Danger! Got you! key. Television. Can you keep up?
Oh, that was nice.
Iron Man.
Yeah. I dropped that combo, but it's okay.
Reactor output at 73%. Well, there's always room for improvement.
So everybody starts at 15th rank when they start off playing the game. And obviously you gain and lose points depending upon whether you win and lose matches.
Stay down. Smart mind.
So there are a few things to this game that are kind of key if you're looking to try and see and get into it. One of the main features of the Versus series in general was the ability back in the day to tag team partners. And you can do that usually by pressing Fierce and Roundhouse, if you guys remember a 6-button layout. You know, jab, strong, fierce, short forward, roundhouse. So usually those were preset attacks. On hit, they would knock away the opponent, but on block, you would be susceptible to a huge punish. This game has what's called an active switch. You can freely switch out your partner anytime during the match, and by anytime, I literally mean anytime. The only time that you can't switch out an actual partner is when they're getting hit. So you're pretty much free to mix up and do things however you please. It's a new thing that they added, and then again, it's not so new. Street Fighter Cross Tekken introduced the same kind of deal. Only you had to tag out using combos, and those combos usually ended, I believe, with, if I'm not mistaken, Roundhouse. And upon that, that's when you would, you know, kind of tag your partner in order to keep performing said combo. Which was kind of the main problem with that game. You felt like that you were really pressing buttons and not really doing anything worthwhile. Whereas this game kind of brings that mechanic into it, and it just takes it to a level where it should have been in the first place and saved specifically for a versus type game. So this is the perfect entry to do it. So active switching becomes very important. When you do active switch, you can actually hold the distance by pressing a direction, so you can actually control when they come on the screen. If you leave the direction on neutral when you active switch, I think they only go as far as your actual character on the screen, but if you happen to be so in the proximity of your opponent, there's an actual hit that's performed once it's left in neutral. If you hold a direction while you're doing active switch, there's no hitbox. So you can kind of make your own mix-ups with that, as small and slight as they can be. It provides for some really good strategy. Another thing with active switching too is it helps keep up the pace of the game and keeps it actually at a real fast pace. So a lot of the online matches that you'll see later on as the game's meta progresses, and even if you've watched some matches online so far on YouTube, you can see a lot of the top players, they pretty much abuse active switch, and it's one of the things that keeps this game pretty interesting, because there's always so much going on the screen. The Versus series has always been about fast-paced pressure cooker action, and this kind of mechanic pretty much adds to that, which I feel is a good addition to the series. It'll be interesting to see how the game plays out later on as people experiment with different teams and try and find what combinations work well for them using active switch, as well as the other mechanics in the game, like the stones. While you're getting hit by certain attacks like beam supers, or if you're getting comboed, you still can perform active switch. In that case, it's called a counter switch, and you do that by holding the switch button for a certain amount of time. And I believe the moment that the combo lets up, like there's a certain gap or space in between it, your partner will come out and you'll see counter switch on the screen. So you can actually use this tool in order to save your partner from getting comboed and kind of switch up the odds in your favor. The only difference is active switching takes no cost. Counter switching takes a cost of 2 super bars. So if you don't have the super to do it, you obviously can't. But if you do have the super to burn, it'll get you out of the bind. Just be sure you recognize that you're using up resources to do it. So it's a risk-reward thing, as most things are in fighting games. So with me, I've just been pretty much trying to work more on my defense. The last couple of weeks, I've kind of been getting swamped with stuff. I'd like to react better to opponents that push block a lot, because that happens quite a bit in this game. So it's just practicing a few things with that. Speaking of which, so push blocking is now very interesting in this game. I believe that this push blocking in this game may be its strongest form yet. As you can see, it allows you to push the opponent back a certain distance. However, the new mechanic within the mechanic in this game is the ability to reflect certain projectiles at your opponent. For me personally, this is huge. I felt like this is something that is very welcome in this game. It's a welcome change to what push blocking is. You can reflect projectiles back at your opponent, and when you do, it actually counts against them, so they will get hit by it. As you see, I just had to block Iron Man's mini missile because under normal circumstances they'd be his because he's attacking the opponent with them. But in a push block situation, it would actually hit Iron Man. And of course, there's a timing that goes on with that. You need to push block exactly on the right frames in order for the projectile to be reflected. Otherwise, it just counts as a normal block and it gets absorbed as chip damage to your overall health. So there's timing involved into it and a bit of precision as well. The other thing too is that not all projectiles from all characters can be push blocked. There are exceptions to the rule. The Reality Stone's orb can definitely be push blocked on the screen. Thank God, because that thing is like almost like it's OP to a certain extent. As you can see, it travels a very small distance, or rather, it has very slow speed and travels almost 3/4 of the screen. But if you can push block that correctly to reflect it, you can catch opponents off guard. Some may say, oh well, you know, it doesn't reset the time that the amount of time that the orb is out there, but in general it shouldn't. I mean, the entire point of it is to be kind of a last minute surprise at your opponent. As I was doing in the previous round, the person was using Reality Stone, and you know, I push block at the right times to stop their, you know, incoming assault. So it's good for that purpose if you can get it. To it having to also reset the time as well as the distance once you push block it, that would be like truly OP. So it has its purposes. There are some basic commands in this game, or rather I should say special moves that have also been simplified. Dragon Punch moves, for the most part, except Ryu's Dragon Punch, have been reduced to down-down motions, which was a highly contentious point when the game was first coming out. But at the same time, it doesn't make the game super simple. There are still mechanics in place in the game that kind of make it... You still have to play this game rather smart. Or at least at first glance it seems so. You know, this is, in other words, this is not a button mash fest type of game. You know, the game is set to bring in casuals, but in the long run, this may just be a game that casuals might enjoy as well as pro players. But we'll have to wait and see how it happens. You know, Street Fighter V is the more casual friendly of the Capcom games, in my opinion. Because a lot of things can happen in this game that can make you really salty really fucking quick. So I don't think that the casual base will stick with the game as long as maybe people might expect them to. So, which I'm fine with. I just like to see, you know, high level play and people use the extent of the mechanics to really like bring out the best of the game. So it's my just personal preference. So that's a little bit about this game in the nutshell. So far, I have very positive feelings about it, as opposed to earlier where I was expressing very negative feelings about it, like extremely negative feelings about it. But I think the game has potential to become probably the best MvC to date. but time will tell on that one. It's definitely, like I said, a workable entry into the series, and we're only 2 weeks in it, and people are discovering glitches and all sorts of new tech. So we'll have to wait a little while to see how things work out. I do have my gripes about the game, my characters in particular, mechanics and how the game plays, but I'll save that for another time. Wow.
Here comes some new challengers.
Wow. Just as I'm about to practice combos. Really? This game has had a tendency of doing this to me over the last 2 weeks. So, you'll always hear the same reaction from me whenever that happens. Because it's just, quite frankly, fucking amazing.
Only one team will be left standing.
Ooh. This is the second Firebrand match I've seen. Let's hope he's actually good. because the first firebrand that I fought last week was not.
Ready. Fight.
I pressed something hoping it would hit, but it didn't. Firebrand's voice sounds more trollish in this. It fits him. Let's try this again.
Ready. Fight.
What the fuck? Fuck.
Target acquired. Here's the big one. Proton cannon. Reality stone. Smart mine. Reality stone. Reality stone. Reality stone.
Nice. Hey.
Reality stone. Back off. Reality stone. Unity. Reality stone. Reality stone. Unity.
Burn the cinder!
Reality stone. Unity. Smart mine.
Iron Man!
Smart mine.
Wonder reality.
Time to go all out.
That scream.
Reactor output at 73%. Well, there's always room for improvement.
Ready. Fight.
Iron Man!
Not good. Oh, fucking stalking flare. Ow, 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 ow.
Back with you! Over here! Back with you!
Unity. Continue.
Formation! Over here! Iron Man! Iron Man!
Ah, shit.
Not yet!
What the hell was that? Ow.
Formation! Finish me!
Reality Stone saves lives.
Hear you to headquarters. Mission accomplished.
Reality Stone saves lives. So right now it's speculated that Reality Stone is the best stone in the game. Power Stone Surge allows you 1 free wall bounce. So the way combos work in this game, you get 1 free ground bounce and 1 free wall bounce in combos. Power Stone, I believe, gives you an extra wall bounce in your combos, whereas the Power Storm, that was the Power Surge ability. The Power Storm, which is where you activate it at full strength, allows you to bounce multiple times from surfaces. I don't know if it's a preset number of times or if it's infinite times, but you are allowed to bounce more than once in combos. And it also gives you increased strength overall in your combos as well. Combos are severely prorated in this game after a certain time, so it helps. Power Stone definitely helps in that regard.
Stay down. Here comes the move.
What the fuck? Ah, okay.
Target applied. Here's the big one. Proton cannon. Stay down. Smart mine. Stay down. Take that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of cut that out.
Stay down.
Which is fun. Okay. Damn it. Not even roundhouse is long enough to reach. Nope. Yeah.
Unlock power inhibitor.
What? No. No, no.
What? Stay down. Unity. Fire. Butt line. Fire. Butt line. Take that. Butt line. Fire. mine! Fuck mine! Fire! Idiot! Fuck mine!
Iron Man.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy?
Fuck mine! Fuck mine! Fuck mine!
No worries, man. You're right on time.
Fuck mine! Fuck mine! Fire! Fuck mine! Fire! Idiot! Fuck mine!
Watch me. Iron Man.
Fuck mine!
Throw a chain. Maxima. Throw a chain.
Stay down!
It can't be that bad, bro. Depends on the size of the room. Are you painting a big room or a relatively small one? Strider was a very good character back in the day. In this game, not so much. So I kind of agree with your sentiment there. Unless you mean something else hidden by that I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry.
Iron Man.
Wonderful.
Stay down! Fire! Fuck mine! Fire! Idiot! Fuck mine!
Iron Man.
Fire! Idiot! Fuck mine!
Iron Man.
Idiot!
Okay.
Super. Throw a chain.
Too easy.
He's not. He's definitely not. That sentiment is very well founded. I said I was going to talk about it later on, maybe in later episodes, and I will, but yeah, seriously, that is his middle name, and I'm actually very pissed off with the way Capcom nerfed him. They pretty much, the character is still playable, but in general, in my opinion, he is a terrible rendition of what he once was. He can still do things. They wanted to make him more defensive in nature, but it just doesn't work out for him. Because all the tools that he used to have to make him, like both offense, defense, in particular his Ouroboros, it's just, it sucks. It's terrible. So. Yeah, that's a pretty bold statement. Okay. I'm gonna continue using him for a little while. I've seriously considered dropping the character because he's that bad, but we'll see what happens.
Stay down!
Oh!
Look out for it! Here comes the move! Unlock power inhibitor! Iron Avenger! Get ready. Here's my special.
Those button sounds mean I'm putting in work.
Iron Man. Aerial raid.
If you don't hear those button sounds, there's something terribly wrong. Fuck. That'll happen at some point. I know that he's playing the game a lot too, so you'll see it coming very soon.
Stay down.
Oh, you're talking about money match. Maybe. I'll bring it up.
Smart line.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
No, Cyclops is not in the game. So, here's the thing with that. The X-Men and Fantastic Four franchises are currently owned by Fox. As a result, Marvel could not get the permission to put X-Men characters or Fantastic Four characters in this game. So, yeah, right. Until the licenses on those characters are up, and Fox releases those characters into the wild again, so to speak, Marvel can't do anything with those IPs because technically they don't belong to Marvel anymore. Now, I hear that those licenses are supposed to expire soon, so there's no telling what Fox will do after that. But I know that Marvel wants their licenses back. So Stan Lee, I believe, went on record some weeks ago saying that it was time for them to return X-Men and Fantastic Four back to Marvel also. But yeah, Stan Lee says it, so it's like, you know, it must be whatever, but there's no telling when Marvel are gonna get their characters back. So yeah, I hate Cyclops too. There's one person in my group that doesn't, and if he watches this later, he's gonna be gunning for me real hard.
Stay down.
Said person loves himself some Cyclops. So.
Iron Man.
Stay down. That's it.
Iron Man.
What the? Oh,
Iron Man. Iron Man.
wrong button.
Stay down.
Huh.
Iron Man.
No, you don't have to hear that anymore either. At least for now. Fuck.
Iron Man.
Oh, I see what it does.
Iron Man.
Target acquired. It's the big one. Proton cannon.
There we go. Oh, almost 7,000. Fuck.
Iron Man.
No, fuck Dormammu. Dormammu right now is considered the best character in the game because he's cheap as fuck. I personally never liked the fucking character, so I don't expect to pick him up.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Shit.
Iron Man.
Stay down.
Iron Man.
Wow, it turned him around.
Iron Man.
Stay down.
Iron Man.
And I still get the bounce. Yeah, same here. I think that his voices in this take from MvC3. The voices I didn't really care for. They're not bad in this, but I'd like his voice to be better akin to the older Marvels. But every other thing about this character kind of sucks, so I gotta take what I can get. Compared to his abilities, his voice is not all that bad.
Stay down.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Yeah, no Akuma in this one. At least not now. There are several DLC characters slated for release very soon. The first DLC character to be released is Sigma, coming on October 3rd, alongside Black Panther. So I think they're going to do a Marvel Capcom pair every couple of weeks after that. You may see Akuma in the future, you might not. Just have to wait and see what the full roster will look like.
Iron Man.
Sorry. This is probably...
Fight. Iron Man. First attack. Here comes some new challenges.
Oh, good. Okay, that's cool. Everybody has their favorite character that they want, so... Yeah, I hope to God I don't see him again.
Battle without limits. Ready. Fight. Iron Man. Iron Man.
That's fine. Yeah, I got caught pressing a button because I was trying to push block.
Target destroyed. Returning to base.
Yeah, but I made some mistakes. Need to try and fix them now.
Ready. Fight.
Target acquired. Here's the big one. Proton cannon. Nothing! Reality Stone!
Sorry, but this is probably the end.
Formation! Formation!
No fucking tech.
Reactor output at 73%. Well, there's always room for improvement.
So it seems as though he's only as good as his Zero, because his X sucks. His Zero's not all that great either, but Zero has the ability to overwhelm in a lot of instances, so let's see if I can do better this time. If he accepts the rematch, which he did. Let's go.
Ready. Fight.
Reality Stone! Reality Stone! Reality Stone! Target acquired. Here's the big one. Proton cannon.
Super.
That was the wrong thing for you to do. Oh. Fuck. That's fine.
Finish me!
Hear you to headquarters. Mission accomplished.
Well, that's that. I mean, truthfully, everybody is still learning the game. And he's obviously still learning his characters, so it is what it is. I think he lost control when he called in X at the time when he should have just kept Zero out. If he had kept Zero out a little longer earlier in the match, I think he would have sealed the deal. But then I also made a mistake that almost costed me. Well, it actually did cost me. I lost Iron Man, but I was able to pull it back with Strider. He was blocking orbs pretty good earlier, so I'll give him credit for that. You know, his defense was on point for that. But also, in general, Ouroboros this time around is a lot easier to block against because fucking Capcom decided that it was too powerful when Ouroboros is Strider's signature move. You know, how do you have a move that's great for both offense and defense, and yet it's not good for either? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. But that's a story for another time.
Iron Man. Aerial raid. Aerial raid. Yeah. Aerial raid. Iron Man. Spectacular. Aerial raid. Iron Man. Iron Man. Wonderful. Yes.
No comment.
Iron Man. Good. Aerial raid. Good. Iron Man. Spectacular. Iron Man. Awesome.
Huh.
Iron Man.
So you're only allowed two active switches per combo, it seems. When you go back into the person that initiates the combo, you can no longer active switch, which is fair. It prevents infinites.
Iron Man. Good. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Yeah, by that time the combo depreciates, so it is what it is.
Iron Man.
Capcom said that they did everything in their power to make sure that infinites do not exist in this game. But people have been finding shit. Some broken shit at that, so... At the end of the day, when making fighting games, there's no way that you can get rid of everything negative. There's always going to be something in the game that persists. You just hope that it's not strong enough to overtake the perception that the game lives.
Good. Iron Man.
Yeah. Combo end, so... I gotta figure something out for that. It's optimal to just switch in once, particularly when you just truly want to switch in your character, and not go back. Because when characters rest, they recover red health. Every time a character loses life, they also gain a significant amount of red health that they can potentially regain back. So if the character's resting in the background and it's not the point, then they'll recover as much life as up to that red health. Red health can be taken away by throwing the opponent that has the red hat, so they won't be able to gain back anything.
Target acquired. Here's the big one. Proton cannon.
So that does significantly less damage, even though it's still like close to 100 hits. So, in general, there are probably better combos that I can come up with and optimize for those types of situations. So I have to work on that at some point.
Stay down.
Not probably. There more than likely are better options. Really?
Stay down. Stay down.
Fucking dog.
Iron Man.
Okay. Oh wow. Caused a floor bounce too. Interesting.
Iron Man.
So the Tiger now, all the options, all the formations are command moves. I don't understand why the fuck they did this. So you hold forward and press either Fierce or Roundhouse for the Tiger or the Bird. It makes it extremely difficult sometimes doing combos, because you have to remember to go back to neutral so that you actually get Fierce Roundhouse as opposed to getting Tiger or Bird. It's one of the dumbest changes I think that they've made to Strider. I still don't understand the fucking point of it, and I won't forgive them for it.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Damn it.
Iron Man. Iron Man.
Okay, I have an idea now. 'Cause I'm not gonna get down fast enough.
Dark Fist. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Huh.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Now it seems to switch sides. She seems to fall on the opposite side of Hiryu's sword. I need to figure out a way to... I need to figure out what conditions control which side she goes on. Maybe doing it earlier. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it.
Iron Man.
Ah, fucking dog!
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Oh, my bad, Chewie. Yeah, actually, it's a freaking tiger. So I keep saying dog, but it's a damn tiger. Oh.
Iron Man.
Fuck!
Iron Man.
Stay down.
Damn it.
Iron Man. Iron Man.
No, I still missed it, even though I didn't do a double jump.
Iron Man. Iron Man.
What the fuck?
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Damn tiger.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Oh, that was a reset.
Iron Man.
Didn't count.
Iron Man.
Frick.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man. Iron Man.
Whew. Maybe I just can't get the combo. I'm gonna keep trying it and see what happens. I really think that I need to cut out the double jump hit and just go for the single jump combo. But it may still leave Strider too high in the air because the opponent is already high enough in the air, so by the time he reaches the ground, even though I do Excalibur, Strider still may not get across in time, unless I maybe wave dash. But my wave dashing isn't really good.
Iron Man. Iron Man.
Stay down.
Yeah, so. And Strider's teleports now are down, down. Big fucking surprise. So if I wave dash incorrectly, I may get an inadvertent teleport. So it's something overall that needs a lot of getting used to. Overall, the changes to his character, I'm very displeased with. Even though he's still playable in this game, which keeps him from being just trash or shit. But he's still, in my opinion, a bad character in this game. Sorry about that. Hey, if it wasn't Iron Man, it'd be anybody else that I would have chosen on this team. So, be thankful. That will probably do it for me for tonight, guys. It's been 2 hours in, and I have to get ready for work in a few hours, so the usual nonsense abounds. I'll leave a fight request on while I mention some announcements. So I've been a little MIA in streams lately. I intend to get back into the fold sometime later this week, probably next weekend. Took a little hiatus from Under Night. I do plan on getting back into that, so for those of you that have been anxiously awaiting more matches, fret not, because I will be back on it this week, so stay tuned. I run a podcast with Strider096 and Striker Beats called the Never Again Podcast. We have an episode coming up this week, expressly tomorrow or today, depending on wherever you are in the world. The episode should be released and on the interwebs by Thursday or Friday, so please check us out. If you've already subscribed to us and listened, thank you for your comments, suggestions, friendship, and support over the last year and a half that we've been doing this podcast. For those of you that haven't heard us yet, you can check us out on SoundCloud, a virtually free app on all mobile devices. We also have a Facebook page. Check us out on Facebook at the Never Again Podcast. Subscribe, like, tune in to the shows, let us know what you think by all means, and stay tuned for more episodes. We usually run episodes bi-weekly. That's every other Wednesday. So, we pretty much discuss and talk about whatever it is that we feel like talking about. We do game reviews, we talk about, not so much world events, we try to stay out of stuff like that, but any and all things that are game related, we really take care of. Alright, Jeremy, take it easy, have a good night. So yeah, tune into that. If you don't have anything else better to do to your day and you decide that you want to listen to a random podcast, feel free to check us out. Let us know what you think. I'll have more MvCI broadcasts coming very soon also. I said I was going to stream this game as well as Under Night, so you will see more of the action and what's going on, and hopefully I can get better as time goes on. I kind of still do want to explore where this game goes and see where it takes me, with all of my gripes and concerns in between, so do stay tuned. If you'd like what you've seen here tonight, please subscribe to my channel on Twitch. You can also find past episodes that I've done on my YouTube channel under the same name, Black Lion Oro. I also have a Twitter account. If you feel you'd like to get in touch with me, drop a line, say hello, yada yada yada, shoot the shit, feel free to do so. And with that, this is Black Lion Oro signing off from the Lion's Den. Take care, guys. Have a good night and a good week. Later.